I need you to move up closer. Come closer, come closer. For this next part, you'll have to come closer. The reason being is because it's highly detailed. And studies prove the closer you are to the lecturer, the higher your retention rate is. And because of that study, I would sit closer up in my university classes. I would sit in the front rows, and my grades increased by at least 10% every row I got closer. So just by environment. Again, environment, right? All right, so if you are taking this training, not those who are just here supporting, even though we thank you guys for being here, those who are registered and are to be certified, please sit as close as possible. Thank you. All right, everybody stand up. Kind of just stretch up, because it's 1 o'clock and I'm tired too. And if I got jet like some of you do, just reach down, reach back up, move around, just kind of shake it out. How do you feel now? You feel a bit better? You feel a bit better, yeah? All right, great. All right. Let's start the next workshop, which is going to be the coordinator system. So this was one of the things, as you can sit back down right now. This coordinator system was one of the items I addressed that will be given to you as an e-version. If you check your emails right now, you should have it. Does everybody have it? Do you have it in front of you? I need you to have it in front of you. Please have this in front of you. Yeah. Definitely want to be better prepared. Yep, no. Standard package email. Who has it? You guys have it? Everybody have it? No? Do I hear a no?
How many people have it, please?
Great. You have it. Can you share with him just quickly? All right, good. Everybody has it. You have it in front of you. You can read it. Wonderful. I need you to pull open the standard package. Open that file up, and you will see the HMT system. It is one of the many documents that are in that folder. HMT system. The HMT system. Please don't mind my voice. I have allergies right now I'm trying to get over. And so it affects the way I sound. HMT system. Who has it? Who's got it up? Yeah, you can see it. You can read it. It's in the folder. Okay, no. I want you to open up the standard HMT package. You must see the word standard. Yes, that's it. So you have it? Is it only you two that do not have it up? Okay. Yeah? I need you to... No, you go back. Go back to your email. I need you to look up the standard package.
Sorry, I need to verify with Susana and Eva. And Fernando, is it sure they email? Okay. Actually, it's
All right,
So you have it.
great. Open up that link, please.
Mrs. Adelaja. Except
Wonderful. Great, great. We're all on the same page. When you open up that link, that folder, correct, it will say HMT system. Find that document and open that one up as well. Everybody have that one? Wonderful, wonderful. Let's begin then. I'm hearing talk, but I need loud. What were you saying? Yes. HMT system. Check the folder. Not the teaching notes. Not the teaching notes. Yes. Okay, not that one. I know which one you're talking about. That's a different folder in entirety. I want you to find the standard folder. The standard folder contains, yes, standard package contains the HMT system in it. So in the beginning, I said that you'll receive 2 files. One will be hard copy, which is the HMT notes that you'll need, and the other one will be the HMT standard package, which you would need to actually run an HMT. And the difference between the two is the notes is something you speak off of, where the standard package is actually the tool in the system itself. I need you to look at the standard package right now. Got it? Wonderful. When you have the HMT system, I want you to scroll down to the HMT coordinator. All right, somebody read me what the role description of the coordinator is, please. Stand and read it. Thank you.
the HMT coordinator is the person who corresponds with the course organization, trainer, and facilitator. In general, they coordinate all items in communications screen training.
Do you all see that? Have it? Did you were able to find it now? Wonderful. All right, now you're going to scroll down, and you will see a bold title, HMT coordinator. Now, can somebody read that description as well?
The HMT coordinator oversees all aspects of the training program from implementation to delivery of the law.
Wonderful. You're going to find this very repetitive. This is good. Repetition will always breed retention, and what you're able to retain in your memory. Because you want to go from who took anything psychology before? Anybody? Nope. Okay. You want it to go from your working memory into your long-term memory. And one of the only ways to do that is repetition, repetition, repetition. So you'll find a lot of this is repetitive, which is great. Okay, so the way this system, I coordinate the trainings all over the world, okay? Whether it be in Namibia, Bulgaria, United States, Canada, and wherever we have it, I coordinate those trainings. And so what that looks like is I have to be in touch with not only Pastor Derek, the trainer, I have to be in touch with our facilitator, the person who's going to be on site, because I'm not always on site. When, especially in Bulgaria, I wasn't on site at many of the times there. So we had somebody over there that would facilitate the trainings themselves. But in order for them to do that, they need the tools and the materials and the resources to make sure they were able to do it successfully. You following? Great. And so from here, I'm in contact with them, I'm in contact with Pastor Derek. I need to make sure everything is moving the way it needs to. It's like a police that guides traffic. Okay, that's what I do. I guide different resources that we have to the right people so that the training can take place. If I don't do my job, there'll be all kinds of chaos when people get there. All right? So I work 12 weeks out or 3 months out from a training. So if I set a training date to be, 3 months from now, which would be November, I think. November, October. 25th, I start today getting everything in order. Even if it's so far out, you start today because you want to give yourself time. And if time is, waits for no man, so you want to be able to leverage that. So 12 weeks out is the ideal standard that you want to work with. But guess what? Things change, things vary. We've had many times, something will hop on the calendar. We have an HMT in 2 months. What do you do then? Pastor Derek goes and speaks at a certain church in Toronto. All of a sudden, we have, a week free, a month and a half from now. Can you do a training with us then? We can get the participants, we can get the money, we can get everything ready. What do you do then? Well, you just work double time. You just compound what you would do in 12 weeks, you do it in 6. Right? So you work 6 weeks out then. So again, as you get used to this, because you guys are the facilitators of the training per se, okay? You're not really, Pastor Derek, as the video, is a trainer. You guys are more so kind of hosting it, so maybe call yourself the host. You need a team, and a person on that team has to be your coordinator, because you're not going to be able to do it yourself. You need a coordinator and you need a facilitator. 2 separate roles, 2 separate people, if you want to make this real simple. That way one person can focus only on one aspect of the training, and the other person can focus on a different one. So 12 weeks out, what happens is I will receive the detailed information from the trainer within 3 days of establishing the event date. So let's say, for example, Ephraim wants to have a training, all right, in November. November 25th, he wants to have a training. I must get that information from Pastor Derek within 3 days. So that's more so the trainer's responsibility to tell the coordinator within 72 hours, I must know the details. When, what kind of training is it? Going to be 2.5 day? Is it going to be a 3.5 day training? Where's the location? What are the dates? I need that information. So the HMT date and location is one of them, A. What's the next one? This is imperative, because if you don't know the fee, how can you budget for the number of participants you have? So the HMT fee. This will vary based on your demographics of the churches you work with, the leadership groups that you are involved with. This changes. We typically charge $395 or $350 per person. And that includes the materials, that includes the books, that includes the resources. Also includes maybe lunch. And so then this is where you get into the specifics of what does the fee include. What we've resorted to now in Canada, just the way we've adapted it, is that it doesn't include lunch or dinner, because what we're shifting over into is holding it at churches. And the churches either host it for their people, or they're close enough to their homes or restaurants in which they can go out for lunch or they can go out for dinner. So again, we have to work. I have to be in coordination with the host event. So let's say let's say Ephraim's a pastor of a Spanish church in Toronto. I have to be in talks with him constantly to make sure all the details are ironed out. So I have to go to him and be like, okay, are you guys going to cater? Do you have somebody that can cater? Usually churches have at least 1 or 2 people that can cater to the event. Will it cost us something? If it costs us something, then we have to add that price to the actual registration cost. So the HMT fee is very important. Any questions on that? Yes. No, it all depends on your demographics. That's really what happens. Yeah, it changes where we go. In Namibia, we'll hold it at. Sometimes we held it at a lodge, rock lodge they have there. Maybe you know that is. In anyways, Okahanja, that's where it is. So other places we hold it inside a school. We'll hold it inside the church. Maybe the church has a venue, like Pastor Sunday holds it here, right? So maybe they have a training facility. Maybe they don't. So you kind of have to work with that church per se. If they want to have it at a hotel that's nearby, that increases the price, definitely. Yes. There will be a difference. I'll explain that. Okay, and so I must then, letter C of number 1 is I must get the host contact's name and email. So Pastor Ephraim here, let's say he's my host. He's the host that's going to be hosting us in his church so we can hold the training. We just did this in Hamilton, right? I always have to be in communication with him. I got to get his name and his email so that within 24 hours of me receiving this information, I'm contacting him. This is the coordinator role. Remember, coordination. Number 2. I, as a coordinator, must contact the host organization, which is Pastor Ephraim over here, within 1 week. I say within 24 hours because I move at a different speed. But with 1 week, I must contact him. Confirm the HMT date with him because things get lost in translation. Okay? And what he may have discussed with Pastor Derek, if I'm not there to verify it, then I could be scheduling a wrong date. Or what happens sometimes is a pastor gets so excited and says, okay, we're going to book this date, and totally forgets that they have another event on that date. And so if that happens, then you have to start to work, okay, what's another date? Give us the next 3 weeks or next 3 weekends in terms of when you're available. And we're going to work together to make this happen. Letter B, response to questions. Pastors have a lot of questions. A lot of questions. For example, you just asked now, is it better to hold this at a church or event, where people are familiar, or is it better to hold it off-site? Should we cater? Should we not cater? What do you think we should do? What have you seen in other churches? Here's a good one-liner. What our experience has been with other churches is, and blank. What our experience has been with other churches is. And so when it comes to catering, we'd simply say, what our experience with other churches is that when we hold it at their church, people are familiar with the surrounding area, and so they'll go out for lunch or they'll go out for dinner. That saves you on the cost. That saves a lot on the cost, actually. Because you're looking at anywhere from $10 to $15 a person a plate, right? A meal. So if you're providing 2 meals in the day, you're looking at $20 to $30 per person that day. 3 days, right? You're looking at $90 off of your registration costs. So it's something to think about. Questions there? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? that we do encounter that when people stay local, they keep local activity as a part of their schedule. And some people are like, I have to pick up my kid or I have to do this. Sometimes they really need to. Okay, that's fine. They still have to do the homework. They still have to find a way. And that's what life is about. Is you don't stop your responsibilities because God's called you to do something, especially if you have a family. You continue with your family responsibilities and you do what God's called you to do. And so it's them now learning to add the responsibilities into their life and to make it work. Because if they intend to make something happen, it will happen. If they believe they can make it happen, it will happen. And you only learn this when you are faced with life pressures. So even though I'm here doing all this, I'm up earlier doing work for back home. Okay, because I got to put more money towards a wedding in the future. This is life. And life doesn't get easier as you take on more responsibilities. It gets more challenging. You have to learn how to balance everything. That's where time management comes into play. And so they're literally learning how their life is going to be at the training. And so, sometimes it works that they can go off and separate themselves from the family. They do that in Namibia a lot, and they have to find babysitters to take care of their family. All of that, yes. But again, it works with whatever demographics you have. If people can get a babysitter, they will. It's intention, though. Any questions on that, though? Anybody else? All right, so what is the next one? Who can read out the next one for me, please? Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Confirms method and amount of payment and how fees will be collected. Method of this may depend on location and situation.
Yeah. Thank you. So, again, when it comes to finances, when it comes to collection of monies, this all depends on your demographic. This all depends, again, on how you may run your finances at the church. What we recommend is you have a financial officer that is just dedicated to the trainings, to organizing and of the financing of the trainings themselves. That way they can focus on one thing. Otherwise, if you give it, maybe for the beginning, you'll have to give it to whoever, organizes the finances of your church. If it's you and you can handle this, great. That's wonderful. But if you want to free yourself from that and you can trust somebody with this responsibility, that they can not only take care of it, but they can, be integral about it, then you pass it on to somebody else. And passing it on to somebody else, then you hold them capable and you cause them to grow as leaders. So it's something to think about as well. But again, it all depends on your location and what you can do. So what we do is we have our financial officer who deals with the finances of the ministry. And so the facilitator, when they collect the funds and they deal with all of that, they then bring it to the financial officer, but they have a spreadsheet of who paid, how much they paid. Was it Visa, check, cash? Very detailed. Is it PayPal? Sometimes we have PayPal. Is it through Eventbrite? Who here uses Eventbrite? Yeah? All right. What do you guys have over here in Europe that's equal to Eventbrite? Nothing? Yeah, it's basically, Eventbrite's basically a event organizer. And so you fill out your event information online, you put up a registration, tickets and everything. It links to your bank, so when people buy tickets, it'll be deposited into your account after the event's done. So that's something we also use. So find tools, online tools and resources to help make these process of finances smoother. You just may have to do a little research based on where you're from. Additionally, what I have to do is I must confirm the deposit amount and the deadline for deposit payment. Big responsibility. Here's another way people pay. Some churches will want to maybe just pay a flat out fee. Okay? Let's say, for example, we have a church in Texas, and they say, you know, we're going to pay a flat fee of $5,000. All right, we're going to give you guys, that's it. We'll give you guys $5,000 to come and do this training. At that point, they've paid a good, we find that that's actually a good flat fee to charge, we'll go on it, and they can bring as many people as they want. They could have only 5 people, they could have only 8 people, they could have 60 people. That's fine. And so what we would do, yes.
In cases like that, what happens with the materials?
So when it came to that, what we'll do is we actually will print the materials. With some churches, we may ask them to print the materials, additionally to the actual payment, the flat rate. And so you have to work out with the host. So if I'm working out with Ephraim over here, okay, I'm saying, okay, $5,000 flat rate. Does that include printing of materials? If he says, well, we have 60, 70 people, and it's a lot of materials, okay, how can we make some cutbacks here? Not on the materials, but on, okay, maybe now it's only 4,500 plus materials and books. So again, you're working with people on the price. The reason why churches play a flat rate is because they want to subsidize people that can't afford to go. Because there's a lot of places we go and we travel to where people can't afford $395. People can't afford $200. And so what happens is the church will then say, you know what, we're going to cover, we're going to provide a scholarship for these people, and we're going to cover, 10 people of our church. Or we're going to pay, here's the price is going to be $200, but we as a church are going to pay $100 per person as a subsidy, so that the person that in their congregation only has to pay $100 to match. Either way, it's going to be $200 for the cost. Sometimes the church will put up the down payment. So I'll give you an example. And I'm getting better with math. So let's say we have 20 people, all right? And it's $200 per person, right? How much is that total? 4,000, great. And so the church, what they want to do is they want to put a deposit down of $2,000, okay? They put that deposit down, so it secures the date, it secures everything, and the people coming. Now, what we usually do is we said people have to pay by the day of, the rest, okay? So then, if we're collecting fees, before the first workshop starts that evening at 7 p.m., we should have the other 2,000 from the participants themselves. I'll explain it like this. There are other times where the church will want to take care of the finances themselves. So they'll do the whole $200 per person, and they'll subsidize $100 for each person that signs up. So again, we'll use the 20 people as an example. 20 people, the church subsidizes $100 for each person, so that's $2,000. Over the course of 3 months, their people pay them the rest of the money. All right, so they give us the deposit, $2,000, to secure their people. But let's say 1 week out, they pay the rest of the $2,000 because their people has paid them. So then we get the $4,000 and we continue with the training. Does this make sense? Are we sure? Questions, please. Yes. No, but deposit is not refundable. Now, we do have instances where we had one church and everything was basically paid for. A lot of people paid, but they said that we're going to cancel it and postpone it. Like, okay, that's fine. They can postpone it. Those people don't get their money back. What happens is we keep record of who is paid and how much, and then they're automatically in the new training that is scheduled. So if February is a time where it was supposed to happen but got canceled because some dramatic reason, there was a problem at the church, maybe somebody passed away, who knows? There's multiple reasons why that training gets canceled. So what we do is we say, okay, we'll postpone it. You don't get the refund back, but we'll postpone it. And all the people that would have gone then can go at this date. All right. Questions there? No? All right then. Number 3. Email registration forms and promotional package to the host organization. Yeah. We will make this promotional package available to you. As trainers, as people that are going to be training others, we'll make it available to you so that you can actually do this. So, again, let's say Pastor Ephraim's in a Spanish church in Toronto. What I will do, again, this is all within 12 weeks of me receiving information that this is the date, this is the time of the training. I sent him a Google Drive link, and in that link will contain different things. The first one is the HMT commercial movie. HMT commercial movie, that is just basically something uploaded on YouTube or an MP4 that's just a commercial a pastor can show. It lasts for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. They can do that on a Sunday morning. All right? Who here has now switched over to video announcements? A lot of churches I've seen them doing that. They're doing that a lot now. So again, a pastor can just play that video, speaks for itself, gets up on stage. I just want to highlight this video we're going to play. Pastor Derek will be coming next week to speak more about it and what History Makers is all about. But let's take a watch of this video. Sits down, plays a video. Hope you all enjoyed that. Next announcement. Very simple. You want to make it easy as possible for our pastors that you're working with to get their people registered. You also send them the HMT standard flyer. We have a flyer that can be printed. So what I do, my normal thing is I do with churches is, Pastor Ephraim, I'm going to send you a link. In that link will also contain a flyer. This flyer you can print and hand out to your people on a Sunday morning. So along with whatever they get on that Sunday morning, it can be slipped into this is what Sunday service is about today, their welcome package or their flyer. I don't really know what it's called. But basically it can be slipped in and handed to visitors who come, anybody who comes. So everybody in the church almost gets one. And that flyer is something that they can hold on to. And a lot of people put it on their fridge, put it on their countertop at home, so they're always seeing it. The fact that they're always seeing it increases their chances of registering for the training. So it's a marketing strategy. The flyer, you know what? The customer it is not customizable. However, when it comes to languages, that's when this is where we would say, use our flyer as a template, recreate it. We can send you the links to recreate it, the PSDs, which is the Photoshop documents, to recreate it in your language. Okay. Another thing we send to pastors is a link to testimonies on the HMA website. History Makers Academy is basically the motherboard, the mothership. And so we redirect people back to it to get testimonies from it, because on that one page of testimonies, we have maybe close to 100, maybe more, of just testimonies from ordinary people doing extraordinary work in the communities for the kingdom of God. Everywhere we go. And this will link into the homework and the facilitators portion later on today. But the testimonies is something. Who here, when you hear a testimony, you get excited? Yeah. They shall overcome by their testimony and the blood of the Lamb. Right. So testimonies are very key. They're very key. And so when when a pastor gets up and says to his congregation, this is why you should sign up for this training, but they don't know why. All right, and I need to, even just because they're in your congregation, they bought into you as a pastor, great, but they don't know the training. They don't know where it's coming from. They know you haven't taken the training, maybe you have. But Pastor Ephraim maybe is not taking the training. He's going to take it with his members. So when he goes up on a Sunday morning and talks about a training that he hasn't done, it's hard to buy into that, right? And so you got to get them to buy into it, and a good way to do that is through testimonials. And they say, you know, okay, you start reading maybe 5 testimonies, and then people get inspired because they think, oh, I'm in that situation right now. I don't know what my calling is. I don't know where I'm going next in my life. And so they hear testimonies of people that were where they are and where they are now. And so it inspires them. Now the next one is the welcome document. That is simply just a welcome. Thank you for registering and signing up for HMT. Thank you, pastors, for, you know, allowing this message to be spoken at your church. The other document that's in, this is all the promotional package, right? Is what is History Makers Academy? Because people will not work with you if they don't know you. They must know you, and when they know you, they like you. When they like you, they trust you. So, what is History Makers Academy is basically, this is who we are. This is what we do. Because the pastor will maybe ask maybe by his board, maybe by the elders, what is this you bring into the church? You can just slide over the document. Well, this is what they say they are. This is what they are. And here's a bunch of testimonies you can check out online. Then there's the topics and assignments list. It's a graphic. It's actually a picture that he can also print off, he or she can print off and give to their members, can give to their elders or their board or their leaders, because graphics and are great visuals. Great visuals. Just as commercials. That's why everything's so bright and fancy. So we have that. Then we have the pastor's one-pager front and pastor's one-pager the back of it. This is one basically 8.5 by 11, almost like a postcard feel to it, stock. And it's basically directed and marketed just to pastors. You know, addressing some of the pastors', frustrations. Addressing some of the pastors' desires and goals. The common thread that pastors have been saying, no matter where we travel to, is where do we go next? You want results. So the word results. This is a results-driven, spirit-filled, results-driven. So that's what they get in the promotional package. Do we all understand that for now? Additionally, in that time frame, I tell Pastor Ephraim, this is what I need. Support me in this. I need a microphone, speaker, chart paper, etc. Before I got here, I told Igor, I need a projector. I need speakers. I need chart paper, which we're not using right now, but whiteboards out there waiting. So you must express to them what you need. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to have it. If you don't ask, you don't get it. All right, now we're into 11 weeks prior to HMT. Again, who feels like this is redundant? It's okay to put up your hand, because I feel the same way and I'm teaching it. Number 1, weekly correspondence. Weekly. This is not bi-weekly. This is weekly. You can get real simple and schedule your email to send out an automatic email to the pastor once a week. So you don't have to think about it. Real simple. I'm corresponding with Pastor Ephraim. I may be calling him if he's a calling type of person. And this is where you have to get personable. Is this type of person only for emails? I know there are pastors who don't want to talk on the phone and they just communicate by email because they're so busy. And they'll forward me to their assistant. Okay, I'm working with your assistant now. And then there's some pastors who want to be on the phone all the time. And so you call them up. How you doing today? How was registration last week? How can I support you in getting the registration numbers up? So it's how can I serve you so we can achieve this goal? It's not you have to do this, 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 and this. It's how can I help you? How can I serve? How can I support? How can I give so that we're successful? Because only if you show up, it's you who dictate, or the coordinator that dictates how successful the training is going to be. How they show up will dictate this opening of the training. And so I show up to help the leaders over there. Number 2, I'm in weekly correspondence with, Pastor Derek. It's just give him updates. It could be a text. We have 30 registrations, and they're expecting 5 more. And I get that number because I've talked to the pastor about it. And then from there, I move on to, I let the facilitator know. Because the facilitator is a person on site. And we'll explain that a bit more. So the facilitator knows registration numbers weekly or daily as they come. The great thing about Eventbrite, or maybe other things, is that it sends an email to you when somebody signed up. And so what I just do is I forward that. I don't even open it. I just forward it right away to the facilitator. They have their name, they have their number, they have their email, they have how much they paid. They can just put that in an Excel sheet and done. Real simple. Who's with me? Who is sleeping? Nobody's sleeping? Yeah, you're sleeping. I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Questions? No questions? Really? Yes. Mm. I'll explain. Sorry. So you're not. This is. So let's get clear on one thing. When it comes to this system, you are not the facilitator in terms of running the background stuff. You are the host trainer. You can say you're hosting the videos. You're the trainer in a way. Okay. So let's just say this is a trainer. So you'll be trainers. So you guys are the trainers. You all are the trainers, I should say. Okay. 5 weeks prior. So weeks 11 to 6 is real simple. 5 weeks prior. Will you have guest speakers to speak the afternoon workshops? Sure. Maybe you want to speak the afternoon workshops on something. This is the time we encourage pastors and leaders. You may want to write this down. This is one go-to phrase. Maybe you as a pastor want to be able to speak on something that afternoon that you normally don't get to touch on a Sunday morning. So maybe you want to really start to cut deep with some of your members. This is a training, you can do that. This isn't Sunday morning. This is a training. You are their drill sergeant if you really want to be. Because you know them best, right? And so this is what you want to tell. This is what we tell pastors. This is what you will tell pastors is if you want something on the afternoon, maybe you speak it. Now, if you want a guest speaker, have a guest speaker. Now, when you have a guest speaker, you must clarify with them the time, location, and duration of their speaking and the topic. The topic must fit within some way, shape, and form of the HMT system. So maybe they're talking about leadership. Maybe they're talking about personal responsibility. Maybe they're talking about system building or giving their story on something. And you want to make sure they know how long you're speaking for. So they're only speaking for an hour. Because if you don't tell them, yeah. All right? Yeah? All right. Number 2, again, weekly correspondence with HMT facilitator in regards to any new registrants. Our facilitator in Canada, her name is Sharon. I will be in weekly correspondence with her because we have a training coming up in Thunder Bay in September. Okay, how are we doing with the, do we have numbers, So I got to contact the pastor when I get back home and be like, how are our numbers with this training? We have it scheduled, but will we have many people showing up? Yes? No? What's going to happen? Number 3, weekly correspondence again with the trainer in regards to registration numbers. Number 4, I contact the host organization. Again, Pastor Ephraim, how are our registrations looking? Oh, they're looking great, Philip. Great. Is there anything I can do to support you? Answer any questions they have. If they ask a question that you don't know the answer to, write it down. Write it down because that'll be added to our frequently asked questions. Write it down. If you don't know, write it down, send it to us. And just simply say, that's a great question. I'm going to do some research on it for you. Yes, of course. Pushing them. So it's a matter of personal responsibility. Is whatever's happening is a direct result of my interaction with them or lack of interaction with them. And so if they're late, it's because I'm not pushing hard enough or staying on top of them. Just ask Bebo today. If I want things done, I'm staying on top of it until it gets done. And so if I want them to pay on time, every day I'm messaging. Every day. I'm not waiting a week. It's now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We had the deposit. It was due this day. Where are we right now? Oh, I'm waiting for people. Okay, next day. Stay on top of them. If you want it, you can say it's culture, but I'm sorry, we're from the kingdom culture. And so if you're trying to shift culture, then you're going to have to be a little more stringent on certain things. If people are asking you to come and help change their culture of the way they're doing things in their congregation, then you have to start with the leadership first. All right, now we have 1 week prior to HMT. Number 1. What is that? Who can read me number 1? Oh yeah, contact guest speakers, that's right. So number 1, A and B as well.
A. Confirm location and workshop time.
Okay.
B. Request BAL for their introduction
All right.
during training.
So that you want to, again, if you have a guest speaker, get the bio so that you can introduce who they are. A pastor, if you're going to introduce a pastor or another leader, just get maybe 1, 2 lines about who they are, what do they do, because every speaker wants to be acknowledged. Let's not try to take on any false humility. You like to be introduced because we like it when people know things about us. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that because even Jesus was introduced by John the Baptist. So, all right, then we got that out of the way. Number 2, brother, read it for us again. Number 2.
Okay. Conference call with trainer.
Again, you're a week out. You want to make sure the trainer is up to date, which is basically if I'm the coordinator and you're my trainer and he's the pastor, that he's going to host the event, I'm going to have a conference call with you and say, okay, Pastor Josephine, this is what's happening. This is how many registration numbers we have. These are some of the problems we ran into, but here are the solutions we have for it. What do you think? Oh, you're going to give me your opinion. Okay, we should make a tweak on the schedule here to accommodate that. Okay, great. Because guess what? You as a trainer may see things that the coordinator doesn't. And it's okay to just let them know. We may have to tweak this here. All right. And so today, I was in the kitchen with Bebo, and we're going over some of the workshop schedules for day 3, 4, 5, because I realized lunchtime is not supposed to be that early. And if it is, you guys are not going to eat until dinner. And so we had to shift some things around and make tweaks. And so again, a constant communication. Communication is key. I'll say it again. Communication is key. Communication is key, and not just in marriage. It's in every aspect of life. Because we are human beings and designed in such a way to be in relationship with each other, we must communicate everything, transparent, just be open, honest, clear, concise. Great. Now, from there, I contact the facilitator with any new updates of registration numbers. Maybe somebody got sick. Maybe somebody got added to the roster. Let them know. 4, confirm training registration payments. I just check in with the facilitator who's involved with this and make sure, hey, have people paid? Are their finances up to date? Great, if they are. If they're not, what do we need to do to make sure that we are holding them accountable? It's not us trying to get their money. It's holding them accountable to the choice they made months ago. Because if that's what they did and they don't follow through, that's what they've been doing their whole life. They've been making decisions and having chicken exits, trying to exit out on life because they're too afraid or whatnot. Because so many people that will sign up, you will find, will say, I can't do it last minute. And it's not that they can't do it, it's that they're afraid. And so again, working with people on this. Because we're here to change people's lives. That's just bold truth. Is we're here to change people's lives. One mindset at a time. We're changing people in the church's minds to kingdom mentality, one mind at a time. All right. Who do I contact next? Number 5.
Contact host organization.
And why? To answer any questions they have. Again, communication, and I'm showing support. I'm not just you guys are not just showing up at churches, holding a training, getting money, and leaving. No, this isn't some like seminar course, okay? This is actual investment of yourself into other people. So again, serving. Time frame, 48 to 72 hours prior to the HMTs. Number 1, very quickly, contact Pastor Ephraim again. Contact the host organization. Communication, you want to show that you're interested and you're involved with the success of this. If I only contact them once a month, it doesn't look like I'm very invested. If I contact them weekly, then it's a whole different ballgame. They know me, they trust me, they're more open to do the HMT level 2 next time. And also at the same time, we want to make sure we have what we need. So water bottles being one of them. When you're speaking, you want water. Okay, I'm telling you that now. That's why I have it here. You want to make sure you have maybe a green room to rest in, because after you're done speaking, you want to sleep. I'm going to sleep after this. Okay, so like I said, you want to make sure that you are also taken care of. And by having a coordinator who can do this, you don't do this, a coordinator does this. I will call Pastor Ephraim, we need this many water bottles. We need like 2 cases of water bottles ready for Pastor Derek for the next 3 days. Additionally, is there a room we can use that is designated as a green room for him? If there isn't, what can we use? Then I confirm with the facilitator the final events. Payments made, payments owed. Then 48 hours, and then that's it. 48 to 72 hours. Once they have those details, the facilitator has those details, they take over that. So when it comes to the training itself, as a coordinator, 3 days out, if I want to, I check in. I just check in with the facilitator. Do you need any more information? I don't have to because I've done my job. But that's my own personal decision and choice that I make. And then I don't have to be there at the training at all. My job is to coordinate the training, not be there. All right. Time frame 48 hours post HMT, so this is when it's all done, is I need to send an email and names of all graduated participants to admin@historymakersacademy.com. So your coordinator needs to send us the Excel sheet that they have written up about every registration of every participant they had at that training. Send it to us, because we're keeping track of how many lives we're touching. We're keeping accurate data of this is many people. Here is the number of people that have gone through this HMT in the course of 6 months, a year. And so when you try to go to the government saying, oh, we want to implement this into our education system, well, show us the stats on it. Here's how many people, here's what they're doing now. You can't argue numbers. Results are often harsh, always fair. And so that's why people respect them. And then that is it. Questions? No questions? What do you mean outside of church? Oh, you can have for both business and Christian people. But you want to designate just a business HMT, maybe. But if there are business people, like there are many business people in Namibia that will attend our trainings, and most of them are Christian, so it happens. Any other questions? Neither am I, so it's okay. Oh, microphone, please.
Yeah, I'm not a pastor, so just like she's saying, I might want to do HMT for business people or for people interested in maybe how to raise a child or something like that. So I think the picture that I'm seeing more of relating to pastors. So for someone like me I have a lot of pastors I talk to, but if that's not what I'm doing, how does this work?
If you're not a pastor, how do you do this?
Yeah,
you don't have to be a pastor to do this.
Okay.
But if you have relationships with leaders and pastors to implement this training itself, go for it. Run with it.
All right. Anybody?
There are some points where you wrote pastors 1 pager front, pastors 1 pager back. By pastors, you mean the host?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what you give to, so if that will be given to Pastor Ephraim.
Okay.
And he can print it out, and he can share with other pastors that he has on his leadership team.
Okay.
Because again, it's targeted directly to pastors.
I didn't get it.
Okay, so I'll give you an example.
Yeah. What I mean is, this pastor, it's written pastor here, but it must not be a pastor, right? It's the host.
Yes, the host. The host pastor. Okay, a lot of the times when I'm working with the host organization, I'm dealing with the pastor.
Okay.
Or sometimes their assistant.
Okay.
That's who I'm dealing with.
I
But
see.
9 out of 10 times, I'm working with the pastor.
Okay. I got it.
Yes.
Do we have, because I'm looking at going back to my home destination and beginning to carry this out, do we have an advertising system in place, how we can advertise this, get people to know about it and sell it to people?
That's a good question. For time's sake, I'm going to answer that when we come back from lunch. All right, make sure you ask me again. So go for lunch, come back at 2:30, please.